האויב ישלם מחיר שהוא לא ידע כמותו. אנחנו במלחמה ואנחנו ננצח בה.
Our support for Israel is rock solid. We're working urgently to get Israel what it needs to defend itself.
Israel closes access as soon as it launches an offensive. There are currently no American newsroom correspondents in Gaza. The correspondents we do have there, who are all Palestinians,
one of them just told me that they feel lost.
Lift the camera a bit so you can see the other side of the street. There are hundreds of people.
Is not the evidence. There's not the forensic evidence, there's not the visual evidence, there's not the photographic evidence, and there is not the witness evidence to support the allegation of widespread and systematic rape.
I don't want to even use the word evidence because evidence is almost like a legal term that suggests you're trying to prove an allegation or prove a case in court. That's not my role. We all have our roles, and my role is to document.
What we found was a really unprofessional rehearsal of an attempt to produce atrocity propaganda on behalf of Israel to justify its ongoing genocide in Gaza. Jeffrey Gettleman, the lead author of this article, would have to answer for what he did. Gettleman relied on two researchers, Anat Schwartz and Adam Sella, who were both very young. And Anat Schwartz turns out to be an Israeli former military intelligence officer with negligible to no experience in journalism, at least when she started doing this article. She had liked a post calling for turning Gaza into a slaughterhouse after October 7th.
That Anat Schwartz did on January 3rd, produced by Israel's Channel 12.
And I'm also in this place. I'm also an Israeli, but I also work for the New York Times. So all the time I'm like in this place between the hammer and the anvil.
So when she talks about being, caught between the hammer and the anvil, what she's saying is she's caught between her duty to be honest and a journalist and her duty to serve the agenda of the Israeli state.
That Hamas committed acts of sexual violence on Israelis during the October 7th attack.
Evidence of systemic and deliberate rape and sexual abuse.
Stories of women sexually assaulted and brutally killed.
The Israeli government and its supporters, when they justify the brutality of the subsequent bombardment and invasion of the Gaza Strip, again and again and again, what they always reference is babies and rape.
Trying to tell this truth and share this truth with the world. Every time the media lies. Every time the media lies. A journalist in Augusta dies. Journalist in Augusta dies. Shame on you. Shame on you.
We're going to continue to stand united, supporting the people of Israel who are suffering unspeakable losses and opposing the hatred and violence of terrorism.
بسم الله يا رب بسم الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
We know that one of the individuals was a member of Hamas's Gaza City Brigade, in fact a deputy squad commander. The other one was an Islamic Jihad operative who worked for its electronic engineering corps.
First, they are journalists inside Gaza. We say this is a fabricated document. Hamas or Jihad or anybody, they're not that stupid to write this document.
They targeted us directly. All this gives us confirmation that Palestinian journalists are being directly targeted in this war.
إننا هنا ضحايا شهداء مع فرق التوقيت فقط. نحن نمضي واحدا تلو الآخر ولا أحد ينظر إلينا ولا إلى حجم الكارثة والجريمة التي نعيشها في غزة.
We happen to have a colleague, Palestinian journalist named Motassim Dahlul, who has been out there trying to get flour for his family. While he was gone, Israel attacked his family. I left the flour and rushed to the hospital, found my 16-year-old son, Asim, wounded, and her and my little angel, Abu Bakr, martyred. I got very crazy. This is his son who was wounded, his daughter who was killed, his pregnant wife was killed by Israel.
Unfortunately, we have gotten used to the silence of the international community and international journalism organizations on the targeting of journalists. These organizations have their heads in the sand, and it's shameful.
The United States has never accepted that Tibet was part of China since ancient times, as the CCP falsely claims.
That Tibet has been part of China since ancient times are historically false.
On this vote, the yeas are 392, the nays are 28. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
That the Congress passed a law, and listen carefully, a law which set off $1,500 million, $1.5 billion, over 5 years to train Western journalists in writing negative stories about China.
Now, in my view, this is the end of the free media.
We're a private nonprofit. We receive our funding from the U.S. Congress. So we are basically a grantee of the U.S. government. VOA, sister organization.
The only reason we hear people in the West pay attention to Tibet is because they can use it as a way of criticizing China.
Shame on China's government! Shame on China's
government! The towns and cities of Tibet are beautiful. They're just sandwiched in between mountains. They'll come and see the beauty of Tibet. They'll see how well organized everything is, how clean everything is.
This is so cool. We've just come into the temple, and just out here in the courtyard, you see so many people practicing prayer, just doing their own thing, and I've honestly never seen anything like this.
You get a lot of reporters, even from the top tier publications like New York Times and Wall Street Journal. So they're interviewing the sort of same overseas dissidents all the time. And so you get a very skewed view of what's happening on the ground in Tibet.
Because Western media has persistently told us that his political movement is peaceful, just, and pro-democracy. They've told us that Beijing is 100% in the wrong and that the new national security law is draconian and led to the end of Hong Kong as a free and open society as we know it. Or is there more to the story that we're not being told?
Come on, kill us all! Kill us! Kill us all!
With close ties to the human rights industry, Brian Kern has become a familiar figure at Hong Kong protests. And what about the Western media that routinely quotes Kong as an on-the-ground expert? We hear a lot about fake news these days, but what about fake sources? It's a taxpayer-funded organization, mostly funded by the State Department as well as industry groups, that aims to topple socialist governments by funding opposition groups, opposition media, and civil society. It's what you might call meddling in other countries' affairs.
We're not really fully democratic in the sense that the country has been militarized for a very long time.
The US-funded media here in Thailand take all of the lies from the US State Department, translate them into Thai, and drill them into the heads of young people here in Thailand.
The shock death of a young Thai activist has brought focus again on the repressive lese majeste laws.
Well, she has been a leading activist who had campaigned for the reform of Article 112, which is lese majeste law.
First of all, I feel hopeless about our country. The reason that she died is mainly about that the fundamental right that she cannot get.
Big powers like the US have been playing this kind of game for many years already with different countries.
Some of the color revolutions which were used by the United States to deploy, to destabilize certain countries of the world.
No, get out! Get out!
The military junta has imposed orders that forbid any reporting that could sow confusion or create divisions or, in their language, create misunderstanding. Prewitt has stood his ground, and he has reported freely, regardless of these orders.
อันนี้พูดได้เลยนะว่าไม่เคยโดนกดดันให้ต้องรายงานแบบนั้นหรือแบบนี้ไม่มีคือเมื่อไหร่ก็ตามที่เราสื่อสารออกไปถึงประชาชนเราต้องคิดว่าเราทำอยู่ในหมวกของความเป็นสื่อมวลชน
I think Western media they have their own perspective already have their own narratives on their side they already take side which is a kind what I call white man supremacy
Situation in Thailand now. No one is safe. เรามีพ่อคนเดียวกันพี่น้องเรามีพ่อหลวงคนเดียวกัน
Your Majesty, sir, these people love you. But what do you say to the protesters who've been on the streets who want reform?
We love them all the same. We love them all the same.
I am ready to be the Prime Minister for all, whether you agree with me or you disagree with me.
US-backed opposition parties are attempting to get themselves into power, and how the United States wants to install a client regime into power.
Or Peter himself could be barred from office by a pending complaint at the Electoral Commission, alleging he improperly held shares in a media company while serving in Parliament.
It will be an exercise in US interference in yet another country around the globe in pursuit of not just dominating another country, but using that country in a much wider geopolitical Thai military and monarchy for centuries have unified Thai people and protected the country from foreign conquest.
We still not accept the truth that our king is just passed away, and it's still very hard for everyone, not just me or us. We just crying.
We're seeing all the people all dressed in black and white and paying their respects, and it really shows that they really love the king.
For many people, the king was the adhesive tape that kept the whole country together, that kept the fractious land of smiles together.
I live much better in Thailand than I did in the US. There's a lot of great things here. Interested in meeting foreigners and different people, and it's just a very welcoming.
are the fake, disgusting news.